Welcome to the program. This week coming to you from the Christchurch A&P show, or Canterbury A&P show as it is. We're going to be taking a look around, meeting some of the characters and some of the people. And speaking of characters, you've been here a hell of a long time. How many years have you been coming here?
32 years. It's the 32nd one, mate. I was here well before you were born.
That's very kind.
We've even sold to bloody Prince Charles, and look here, have a look at this here. Even John Key himself brought our product back at the Hastings A&P show just recently. The pumpkin knife.
The pumpkin, now 32 years.
Yep.
I mean, you would have seen a fair few changes and an awful lot of people.
Hell yes, and the old showgrounds was great. We worried when we come to the new one, but now it's expanded and it's come of age, I believe, this year. That's my opinion. Yeah.
So you just travel the country, selling your bits and pieces on the corners of A&P
Yep, that's
shows.
right. Yep. We come along to convince people that they've got our money and we've got their product. You know what I mean?
And poor John Key couldn't actually afford your...
No, well, actual fact, I've even got his $5 in my pocket. That's all he had on him, and he had to get another $15 from his entourage. And I said to him, I said, "Sir, this knife will slice up National that much, it'll start to look like Labour." He enjoyed the joke.
I think on that note, we'll go and find some other characters and have a good time. Paul, Agri-C, as in New Zealand Limited Better Nutrition. Tell me about Agri-C. What is it?
Agri-C is a seaweed-based company. We distribute liquid and solid-based components around seaweed for managing animal health, soil health and plant health. And our main business is with the broadacre farmer, where we try to help with his nutrient management and general animal health.
So basically it is a fertiliser?
No, it's not actually a fertiliser as such. We have micronutrients in it, trace elements, we have vitamins, amino acids, and when we're putting it into the farming system, we're looking at the health aspect rather than the fertiliser aspect of the farming system.
So it is a tonic as well for the animals?
Correct. Most animals, as in humans, we need to have need to have micronutrients, vitamins, and we need to have that in a balanced form. And this is where seaweed's got an advantage over most other commodities, is that it's totally naturally balanced.
So you put it on the soil and you put it, and how do the animals pick it up?
What happens is we feed the microbiology of the soil. It's the microbiology that helps release the nutrients that are already stored in the soil, and that's what feeds the plant system, and naturally the plant feeds the animal system.
Because the animals are what they eat.
Correct, yes.
Application?
We've got our liquid product, goes on through a hydraulic spray system, and we're also now just about to introduce a new solid product where we've infused our liquid with our with zeolite, which is a volcanic clay from out of the central North Island.
And I guess it's right across the board. You said broadacre, but horticulture will come under it as well?
Correct. Horticulture, viticulture is probably one of our bigger markets. We also start looking at flowers. Basically, living organisms require feeding, and if it absorbs nutrients and needs nutrients, then we can offer it.
And obviously the soil is a lot better for it. The worms will come back in and everything will be good.
Yeah, that's part of the biology. We look at worms as being our visual indicator that things are performing as they should do biologically, and the better we feed them, the better they perform, the better we feed the plant system and the animal.
And intensive cropping would be just about a no-brainer, wouldn't it?
Correct. Plant health, allow the plant to build a bit of resistance to disease, insects, just through general good health of the plant.
Because cropping does rip a lot out of it.
Oh yes, yes, and it's how efficient we can actually get the nutrients from the soil through into the plant for optimising yields.
Jeff, it's a bit cold, but everything's underway.
Oh, it's not that cold. Come on. No, it's beautiful. Everything's going well. We've got our Royal Equestrian event rocking and rolling in the ASP arena. And over here on the ANZ Cattle Lawn, we've got our cattle being shown. Cattle numbers are up this year. It's good. It's looking good.
So all the hard work's been done now. It's just a case of sit back and let it unfold.
Well, a lot of hard work's been done now. There's still a fair bit to be done. There's all sorts of competitions going on inside the show, so we're still working furiously to deliver those. We've got our mint lamb competition this afternoon in the Sheep Exhibitors Club, which you'd know well. And the obviously constant movement of animals and jumps and trade exhibitors, and yeah, so it's full on still. Show's happening.
Let's talk about your volunteers. I mean, it's without them it just wouldn't.
What happened? No. I don't know how many exactly there are here, but probably 500. And they turn up and they just know what to do. They know where to put the animals, they know where to move the animals, they know how to set up the jumps, they know how to run the arenas, they know how to distribute their coffees, their teas, they know how to get their urns, they just know how to do stuff. And so I just kind of put it all in a place, get it ready, and they just swarm in and they swarm back out and they make it happen.
Trade exhibitors, they're looking good?
No, looking very good. There's certainly a pinch in the economy, but it's not big, it's just tiny, but like we're up in terms of the numbers of people here. So that's good, but they're all telling us that they want to sell more. So come on down, buy something.
Now, you've turned it into a carnival as well as being an AMP show.
It's a festival. You know, it's part of the New Zealand Cup and Show schedule of calendars with Riccarton and Addington in the show. So I guess collectively it is a festival. We've got the Feelers on the main stage on Friday. We've got some great acts for the next couple of days. We've got an amazing new enduro cross event going on out the back. You should go and have a look at it. So that's another group of volunteers that have come on board, a club. They've built all sorts of infrastructures with diggers and trucks and front-end loaders. And there's 50-odd competitors are coming from all over New Zealand to compete. And it's an amazing competition. You should go and have a look.
So how do you get onto these people, or do they come to you?
Look, it's a bit of both. My phone rings constantly with people, and you've kind of got to weed through them and go, well, who am I talking to? And in that particular case, what I was talking to was a proper club with a structure, an organisation behind it, and people that we could trust to do all the work, and we provide them with some resources and let them go. And they've proven themselves this year. They're great. They've great outfit, and we're really happy to have them here. And I think it could be the next wood chopping arena. I mean, over the next 20 years, certainly the next 10, that's going to develop. Those guys are doing an amazing job out there.
We were reminiscing this morning on the way out about clouds of dust when we first came out here a few years ago. Yeah. Your trees are looking much better and looking pretty good now.
Yeah, the trees are looking much better. We could do with some more rain, I guess, over the summer. So there's
Not this week.
Not this week, no. But all farmers want some more rain, don't they?
Yeah. So I'll let you carry on because your legs are a bit of a blur, but it's a huge 3 days.
Massive 3 days, yeah. It's only just starting. It's going to be exciting though. It's great. It's going to be a great show.
Love your enthusiasm, Jeff.
No Thank you.
Fairly spirited sort of horses here, and interestingly enough, Canterbury AMP show this year is an equine event. That's because the president of the Canterbury AMP show has done many, many, many years of work in amongst the equine sections. And so it's basically wall-to-wall horses as far as the show is concerned. We'll be back with more for you on the land, coming to you from, of course, the Canterbury AMP show in a moment.
You know that saying, content is king? Well, in today's mixed media world, it's true. You need video, audio, photos and more for social media, for marketing, for communications, sales and for advertising. And you need this at a price that works with your budgets. Well, that's what we do. At Tandem, we partner with you to create the content that you can use to shout to the world or video link to a few. Connect with us and we'll help you connect to the world.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
I think it's all working well, Jack.
My thoughts exactly.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
This is exactly what you need.
I think that'll do the trick.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
It's all looking good. Did you bring the sauce?
I can't think of everything.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
For real ideas and real solutions, just think water.
I've been reporting on farming matters on the radio and newspapers and on television for 40 or so years, but communication, like farming, has moved on. So we've come up with On the Land, online and through YouTube on any screen, anytime and anywhere. Just push play and see and hear what's happening today in our rural community. You'll learn and be informed about the latest and best information farming matters. On the Land, bringing farming information into the 21st century. So join us on our website, ontheland.co.nz.
Be Active begins here in the cold, clean, unpolluted southern oceans of New Zealand. Be Active amino acid biostimulant, natural, 100% pure, manufactured from healthy deep sea fish from sustainable New Zealand fisheries. New Zealand's B-active amino acid biostimulant, the way the world is growing. Working with nature, good for the plant, good for the planet. Now that's growing for good.
We're living on a planet facing almost insurmountable challenges. Challenges we have to face sooner rather than later. The world needs our energy. She needs our ideas, our passion. It's up to us to change things. Make a positive change to the planet, to feed the world, to protect the future, to live well, to be the generation that will make a change. Join us.
Gentlemen, the cattle segment or section, it's the Hereford breed is the breed of the focus. The Hereford breed.
Yeah, it's the breed for the AMP for the year. You know, what is it? The feature breed.
Feature breed.
Yeah. And we're lucky to have a fellow from Australia, the ex-president Steve Reid from Australia, judging with Jack Murray. So it's good.
Tell me, what are the judges looking for when they look at an animal, whether it be a cow or a bull?
Well, if I'm in the ring, I'm looking for the type I like mainly. The type of animal that I see fits the beef industry and where we're heading and what the future is for our breed. So that's number one, and then I'm looking for structure and basically conformation, how the animal walks, and they've got to be structurally sound in the feet, jaws, heads, and and then you build up in your mind a picture of where you're going to place the animal. So
It must get confusing when you're doing the all breeds and the meat and wool cut, because you've got so many different aspects.
Well, you comment on it.
It does get hard because you've got such a good line of cattle and they're all so even. And at the end of the day, it's the judge's opinion just on that day. You know, like you get out here in the ring and there's an awesome line of cows and calves, and you just got to be firm where you're going to and what your principles are and how you're going to handle it. And there's some really quality stock here, and it's a privilege to be asked to judge.
How do you become a judge? I mean, is there a sort of a hierarchy?
The societies pick the judges, and they start our judges off as associate judges, which is really lucky because we've got to get youth involved in our breeds. That's the future. Get youth involved, and then as you've done half a dozen shows, then you get lifted up and get watched, and then goes the senior judge.
We have a status. We have associate status and a senior judge status. So once you're in the senior judge status, you can judge at any show anywhere, basically. Yeah.
Is it a thankless task because there's only one winner?
It is a thankless task, but at the end of the day, it's passion, and you've got to have that passion to be able to want to do it and to believe you can do it, and it's passion that drives it. Passion that drives these people to bring cattle to the show to start with, we're lucky. Our biggest problem in New Zealand, we just haven't got enough shows for young people to really get them going. But the AMP show is doing an awesome job getting young judges classes, and we're all trying to do it. The Angus guys are doing it, the Hereford guys are doing it, just to get youth involved big time.
Just looking at the Angus behind us here, there's a lot of young people handling then.
Yeah, no, and that's what it's all about. That's the future, and getting young people back into AMP shows and getting them going is great.
Is the beef industry in good heart?
Oh, very good heart, yes. The only downside is probably cow numbers are dropping a bit because of competition from the dairy, but I think we're going to see that come back now that dairy jobs slip back a bit. So,
the good thing about numbers being down is that the quality will always not be culled.
Yes, very much so.
So basically the national herd will be looking better because of it.
Yes, and then with beef being over $5, we haven't seen that in the last forever really. So for 2 years consistently with beef over $5, it's got to be a real positive.
No, really, really exciting times for beef farmers, and it's so good to see our commercial farmers getting paid for what they're doing. You know, they've been buying good quality cattle and bulls and things, and they've stuck to their knitting, and it's great to see them rewarded. That's a real big thing. It's awesome. No, it's great. Long may it last.
Dean, there's a few tricks of the trade going into to get the cattle looking the way you want them to look.
Yes, Rob. It takes probably probably a year before the show you start really thinking about what cows to, when to calve them, all that sort of stuff. And then running up to the show it gets very busy, the feeding wise, and preparation with not so much the clipping, we do that all here. I employ someone to do that, I just can't do everything. Then it's feeding and bagging, keeping them clean, keeping the packs clean of bacterial.
So what are the judges looking for? It's obviously appearance is one of them.
Just all confirmation, really, all confirmation. All confirmation should be milk, really. It's a good confirmation cow should be able to be one that gives a lot of milk, so and lasts a long time.
Now you've got a stud, obviously, so you're breeding top line cows.
Yeah, I've been lucky to be 4th generation breeding. My parents sort of, they're here helping, but I've been lucky to take over the home farm. And my brother's milking cows and my sister are doing extremely well, but I've ended up with the home farm. And it's a family thing, they all get involved too, my brothers and sisters and their kids. And
so a real family deal.
It's a family deal, yeah.
So do we dare ask what you're doing at the moment? You're putting something on there?
Just some udderment. It's just liniment to bring the veining out, soothe the udder, because they are quite full.
Yeah, especially that one, she looks huge.
Yeah, it's a bit like Finalgan in rugby, but it's not quite as strong. You can't have a leak with that, can you?
So when are you going out there? I mean, you've how many classes?
My son's had a calf out, and then we've got my nephews and my son and daughter out in a class now. And the milking classes will start in about an hour. So we're just prepping them, getting them ready, clipping down the other end, feeding, keeping them clean.
Fluffing the tails out.
Fluffing the tails out, yep.
And obviously there's milking facilities here, Dean.
Yes, there's very good milking facilities, and we've been here since Sunday morning. I think the sheriffs arrived on Saturday night. It would have been handy to arrive Saturday night, but commitments at home and a bit of farming sort of slowed that down.
So. Bit of farming, Dean?
Yeah, there.
If you had said polo, I would have understood.
Well, polo, I haven't ridden a horse yet, but I will be on one next week. They are all fit, so no, it is a great family thing, and it does take a lot of time. We're up at, I got up at 2:30 this morning, bed at 11:30, and I think it's sort of been that since Saturday. So.
In Christchurch show, you get down from the North Island down here, you would say voluntary service abroad, do you?
Well, it's like going abroad, that's for sure, and for me, because I don't get to travel far. This is an overseas trip. Yeah.
So how are things in the North Island?
Oh, I think in the hill country, in pretty good order really, as good as it's been for some time. We've had a good year with the sheep and beef, well, good number of years actually. Sheep and beef have had a turnaround, and so things are pretty positive there. And my part of the country, which is obviously the Manawatu Rangatiki, the dairy sector really pretty stable. I mean, they're uncomfortable, but they're stable, and I think that we're going along okay, particularly in the rural sector, doing well.
You've got quite a bit of hill country around that area, haven't you?
A lot of hill country. Ironically, I think I'm the biggest sheep electorate in New Zealand now. I've taken it over from Southland, but so we do have a lot of sheep, and we're in pretty good order. Other than the floods in the early winter, the country's mostly got over that now, and we're looking much better. But they did do a significant amount of damage to some of the hill country, and particularly the lowland dairy farms at the mouth of those rivers. They did quite a bit of damage there, but no, coming along, and they're doing, most of them doing okay.
Farmers are pretty resilient, aren't they? I mean, nature keeps throwing challenges at them.
Well, I think the interesting thing about farmers, and farming's changing of course, but I think historically farmers have been where they are. You're there for life, and well, you anticipate you're there for life, and I think we're kind of long-term thinkers, so we put up with the short-term irregularities and carry on. And I think the change we're seeing, of course, particularly in the dairy sector, it relates to this kind of corporatisation of farming, which is a very different kettle of fish than the old family farm, which I think is the backbone of New Zealand, and probably still very important. I think will remain so, and may even become more prevalent again in the future.
You think we will swing back?
Well, I think that it's very difficult for a corporate to operate in the historical manner in which agriculture is operated in New Zealand, and I think that we're seeing that tested again right now. So I think there's a possibility we'll swing back, and hopefully we can get enough of the younger generation on the land, and I think that probably is one of our big challenges actually, is the next generation and making sure we get them into agriculture and get them into farming. And it's really positive to see Massey and Lincoln's agricultural student statistics significantly improving, so that's a big bonus for us as well.
How do you make farming sexy?
Well, have us 4 in the morning underneath a cow's not that great, I guess, but I think there's a whole lot of great stuff about farming, and I think the way of life, the resilience it gives us, and I also think that there are plenty of ways of us improving the lifestyle for people in rural New Zealand. But I think one of the really important things for us, and I guess one of my priorities as a rural MP, is to ensure that the government understands that we can't depopulate rural New Zealand and still have a positive rural sector. We have to encourage people to live or stay living in rural New Zealand and keep our small towns buoyant and moving along. And the tourism industry, interestingly, is complementing that beautifully in a lot of parts of New Zealand, particularly the central North Island, the East Coast, and definitely the South Island High Country. So
we've become very technology focused.
Oh, farming today compared to what it was when I farmed is very different, and I think that's probably a great attraction for younger people as well. It's a very different business. You know, you've only got to look at the veterinary profession where you used to have to be big and strong and male, basically. Now anyone can do it, and we have a large number of female vets. Very technology-based business. You know, so very different than it used to be.
The government position on farming. I mean, when I was a young lad, number 3 on the bench was the Minister of Agriculture, but he's not in the front row now.
No, he's not, and I'm not sure that I really like that, but that's how we work. But I do think this government has a pretty good appreciation of the importance of agriculture, and obviously the last few years agriculture's carried New Zealand through a very difficult time, and I think that's going to continue. There's no question of that. I guess our challenge is as a country and as agriculturalists is to diversify the industry as much as we can, and I think we're seeing that, and I think even the free trade agreements point to a need for us to diversify a little more, so the days of exporting they've gone anyway, of whole sheep, but milk powder and things like that will get broken down and produced into other product, I think. And so I think the more diversified we become as industries, the more positive it is for the country.
So we're in good heart?
Well, I think we're in good heart. I mean, obviously some of our dairy sector are a little disappointed with the results they're getting at the moment, but I think we're in great heart, really. And we're even seeing timber log prices pretty good, and we're seeing some diversity in the timber industry as well. So I think we're in great order, but we just have to keep at it, and we've got to work very hard to make sure rural New Zealand holds its own from a people perspective. In other words, we've got to keep our people in rural New Zealand.
John, the Supreme Champion is sponsored by Vero. Why did you go and do something like that?
Well, Vero have been around in different forms in Canterbury for 150 years. I guess it's our way of giving something back to the community. We give free coffees away in the morning, and we've become a bit of a destination at the show. It's just Vero, we're a large insurer. It's just our way of saying thanks, I suppose, for being involved in the community.
And you are nationwide, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're nationwide. We're our only head office department of Vero is based in Canterbury, and that's the rural department. So we'd like to support Canterbury because we're based here as well. And we've got a big client base here.
As an insurance company, you're very relevant to farmers.
Yeah, well, absolutely. We're there to remove uncertainty for farmers. You know, good insurance, when the loss occurs, the last thing the farmer wants to find out is his insurance isn't the right insurance. So we're very relevant. I guess the Canterbury earthquakes confirmed all insurers' relevance, really. Insurance is essential, isn't it? Particularly for farmers.
When people make a claim, what can they expect?
We'd like to think that our claim service is one of the best services in the insurance industry. Particularly for Vero Rural, we're recognised for knowing what we do. We have experts that handle claims. If you have a claim, there'll be a case manager who looks after your claim, and somebody that knows about insurance. You know, you don't have to explain what a header is or a slasher. We'll know what you're talking about.
So that makes it basically understanding farming.
Yeah, well, we've got staff on our, including myself. I've got a small farm. Some would say I'm not a farmer, Rob, but I count myself as a farmer. We've got people on our staff that are farmers and come off farms, so we know what we're talking about. It makes a difference, I think.
And as you said, Canterbury is a centre pin for you?
Yeah, so our head office department for rural insurance at Vero is based in Canterbury. we're the only department outside of Auckland, but that's good, suits me.
It seriously is, as an insurance company, I mean, you go right across the board.
Yeah, no, so Vero provide the full range of products. We do commercial, from corporate to commercial to rural to domestic. Yeah, we're big players in the market.
So how do we get in touch with you apart from being at the AMP show, drinking coffee and watching the cattle?
Well, we've got an excellent website, so you can check us out on the website. When you go, generally we transact business through intermediaries, brokers and advisors. So if you go onto our website, you'll be able to get in touch with us through a broker advisor listed on our website.
Actually, brokers are unsung heroes, really, aren't they?
Absolutely. So brokers add an extra value to the insurance transaction. They're there to ensure that your insurances are properly arranged. They're there to support you at claims time. That's fairly important. And really just add some expertise to the insurance program.
Busy times here at the Canterbury AMP show, and I just adore catching up with some of the characters and some of the new products and some of the new technology. It's a great opportunity to spend 2 or 3 days just learning, meeting up with people, and we'll be having more from characters and people straight after the break.
You know that saying, content is king? Well, in today's mixed media world, it's true. You need video, audio, photos and more for social media, for marketing, for communications, sales and for advertising. And you need this at a price that works with your budgets. Well, that's what we do. At Tandem, we partner with you to create the content that you can use to shout to the world or video link to a few. Connect with us and we'll help you connect to the world.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
I think it's all working well, Jack.
My thoughts exactly.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
This is exactly what you need.
I think that'll do the trick.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
It's all looking good. Did you bring the sauce?
I can't think of everything.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
For real ideas and real solutions, just think water.
I've been reporting on farming matters on the radio and newspapers and on television for 40 or so years, but communication, like farming, has moved on. So we've come up with On the Land, online and through YouTube on any screen, anytime and anywhere. Just push play and see and hear what's happening today in our rural community. You'll learn and be informed about the latest and best information farming matters. On the Land, bringing farming information into the 21st century. So join us on our website, ontheland.co.nz.
Be Active begins here in the cold, clean, unpolluted southern oceans of New Zealand. Be Active amino acid biostimulant, natural, 100% pure, manufactured from healthy deep sea fish from sustainable New Zealand fisheries. New Zealand's Be Active amino acid biostimulant, the way the world is growing. Working with nature, good for the plant, good for the planet. Now that's growing for good.
We're living on a planet facing almost insurmountable challenges. Challenges we have to face sooner rather than later. The world needs our energy. She needs our ideas, our passion. It's up to us to change things, make a positive change to the planet, to feed the world, to protect the future, to live well, to be the generation that will make a change. Join us.
Ladies, Chilean needlegrass, not nice.
It's not nice at all. Yeah, it's not something that you want on your property if you can avoid it.
So how do we identify it?
It's quite distinctive at this time of the year, so the sort of October through to late February period is when it's seeding, and that's when it's really particularly easily identifiable. It's got a pink tinge to it, seed, and if you have a look at the poster just over here, you'll be able to see how distinctive that seed is.
And it's obviously a noxious weed?
It is, but it's
It is a noxious. It is obnoxious as well as noxious.
Definitely, and potentially it can have a huge impact on I guess productivity and animal well-being, particularly lambs. The seeds are really sharp, They can penetrate the hide, they can penetrate tissue and cause abscesses, cause blindness. They can get into dogs like barley grass can, so a really, really nasty seed.
So you've got all sorts of suggestions here, like only buy certified feed and seed and all that sort of thing?
There's a lot of things that each farmer can be doing on their property to make sure, and lifestylers as well, that they're aware of where things are coming from when they bring them on. So making sure that stock that they buy isn't coming from a property that has Chilean needlegrass, or making sure that the feed, seed, hay, anything that they're bringing on is coming from clean properties, and also making sure that contractors and machinery is clean when they come onto your property, and also if you have Chilean needlegrass on your property, making sure it's clean when it leaves your property and goes elsewhere. So
it's sort of like TB really, isn't it? You've got to be certified. But you guys haven't gone that far yet.
We haven't gone that far yet. There's still a lot of places we don't know if it is actually there, because we just know where it is at the moment. If you have a look on the map over there, North Canterbury is the only sites that we know where it is at the moment. But just because that's where we know where it is, doesn't mean that it's potentially elsewhere within the Canterbury region.
It looks as though the parts of the North Island and parts of Marlborough are pretty suspect.
it seems to like the east coast of both islands, the drier, harder hill country in particular, and those drier areas of the country seems to be, like Nasalatussa, seems to be the most climatically suitable. Yes.
So how bad is it? I mean, is it really obnoxious?
Potentially, yes. It could be really, really huge if it gets cracking. I mean, we've only got 14 sites in Canterbury. It was found here in 2008. It covers, I don't know.
I think I read 300 hectares.
And that's in Canterbury, but Marlborough and Hawke's Bay are much bigger problems in the North Island and in Marlborough.
So you're at the Christchurch show really just as a letting people know and an exposure thing?
Trying to make people aware of what it looks like and what they can do to stop it coming, and how to identify it if they think they might have it, and who to contact if they're concerned, and just a real public awareness drive to say, hey folks, this is out there, this is what you can do to stop it turning up at your place.
So like Narcella, get rid of it as quick as you can.
We'll certainly come to Environment Canterbury for some advice on how you can manage it if you do have it, and certainly the options that you've got to keep it off your property.
Well, salamis have come under a bit of flack, but nobody's taking any notice, are they?
No, not at all. I think we've actually sold more. We've sold more salamis, more bacon and more sausages than ever. Especially the way we make them, we don't fill them up for the rubbish, so people are appreciating it.
Now, tell me about making salamis, because obviously you do.
Yep, it's quite a process. To make ours can take up to about 3 to 4 weeks to get them to the right age. It's about a week of curing, and then we hang them up, dry them out, and then we smoke them, and then we give them another 2 or 3 weeks curing after that. And it's quite a very basic sort of recipe. It's a bit of a secret, but it's just very simple the way it should be done, and the flavour is really, really good.
You've got quite a range?
Yeah, there's 4 different types. We do 2 milder ones, do a venison and a garlic, and then we've got the spicy ones, a pepperoni and a fire on the whole, which has got a nice heat to it.
And are people catching on? I mean, it's a very old food, but it wasn't always fashionable.
No, I think it's actually getting more and more, because, as I say, it's very basic. It's not full of any rubbish or chemicals. People are going back to that now because it's such a healthier way of eating, and it's good for the whole family. You know, it's good iron for the kids.
And there's no preservatives to speak of, because it's cured properly.
That's right. It's the main it's salt. Salt's a natural preservative. That's all you need. You know, it keeps for months.
And how's trade? I mean, do you sell it retail, or are you selling them wholesale?
Yep, we do both. Actually, got a shop in Cashmere, 18 Colombo Street. We sold a whole lot through there, and then we're starting to supply a few pizza places now, and also we do markets, farmers markets, things like that.
And of course the Canterbury AMP show.
Canterbury AMP show, which is great. Very good. So
recipes, where did you get yours from?
Well, it's sort of been passed down to me from 3 or 4 butchers before me that I used to work with, and I've tweaked it a little bit to do my own sort of spin on it. That's where I've come up with this nice spicy one now, you know. So we're always tweaking it, trying to get it better and better. So, you know, it changes now and again.
And you will be keeping on developing?
Definitely, yeah, trying to, yeah. So next year we're going to look at maybe getting slightly bigger and putting more out there because there's a big demand for it. So need a bigger shop.
And the neat thing is you can buy one and it's not going to go off. You can just keep it.
That's right. You can keep it. You can hang it in the fridge. People take them camping, tramping up in the mountains. People take them to Singapore, all over the place. So
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they take it to the islands. Yeah, they do. Yeah, get it through Rarotonga, all that. So yeah, they're a good product.
All from a little butchery in Kashmir.
Shop in Kashmir. Yeah.
One of the things that probably confuses people is the different brands, and some of them are. How do you pronounce, for example, these green ones?
These are Fendt. They're made in Germany. They're called the Rolls-Royce of tractors. They're the best.
So it's Fendt.
Fendt.
Thank you.
Fendt.
There's one little allocution lesson for the week.
Fendt, yeah.
So what makes them the Rolls-Royce?
They just come out with absolutely everything on, where other brands of tractors come out at a lower spec. These sort of come out with absolutely everything on to start with. So
it's interesting that they've obviously got front-mounted implements as well.
Yeah, front-mounted implement, PTO, suspension all the way around. They have compressors so you can blow your tractor down at the end of the day. They're the most fuel-efficient tractor on earth, I think. So yeah, they're very, very good.
And how big a market market share are we getting?
The Fendt tractor is what would classify a professional person would have. So your contractor, large-scale farmer. You know, you'd probably have a one-man, one-tractor situation. So they're fantastic.
Now, I was brought up on TEA Ferguson's and Massey Ferguson's 35s. Very different to a modern tractor.
Just a tad, yeah. Yes, no. These have got GPS, they've got isobus, so if you've got, for instance, a baler on behind, everything will go through the one screen on the tractor. It maps where you've been, everything you've done, fuel economy.
Peter, they hard to. I mean, if I got into one, would I be able to drive it?
Oh, within a minute and a half, we'll have you going down the road.
So really, they are that quite.
They're that simple. They're that simple.
And yet, you've just been talking about computerisation and God knows what.
Yes, like the GPS-wise, they've got their own system. So.
And it goes New Zealand. It just slots into New Zealand.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Anywhere in the world. Like they've got 6% of the tractor market in Germany. Over here, they're a specialist tractor, so only certain type of people have them.
What else is happening in the machinery world?
Oh, she's all go at the moment. Like this time of year, a lot of contractors are still buying mowers and hay equipment. We've got the Lely balers behind us. They're fantastic baler for baling and wrapping. They've got a hell of a good following. Then for the dairy farm, we've got the feed-out wagons. A lot of dairy farmers now are going to the Manitou telehandlers there. Like on a good dairy farm, you'll probably do 1,000 hours a year on a tractor.
Really? We sort of don't consider that, do we?
1,000 hours a year for an average-sized dairy farm.
Yeah, right. And of course, the smaller tractors are still pretty important as far as the industry is concerned.
Absolutely, especially like we in Canterbury, like for the horticulture, like everyone likes a nice bottle of wine. Most of the grape growers would have an Iseka or a Fendt there. A lot of the councils now have Isekis for mowing the lawns. And then we've got the good old Massey Ferguson. They've been around for...
well, that's what I learned to drive on.
60 years, and they must be good. They've been to the Antarctic and back, so... which is brilliant.
And you're obviously getting young attention as well as older.
Oh, absolutely. Kids love it. The show's for the kids, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really. So JJ's all in good shape?
Absolutely. Yep. No, we're from we go from Kaikoura down to Invercargill, and everyone should know us. So no, we've got a great team of people.
And it is a team business, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a family business, and we're all part of it. And like I say, stick with family, isn't it? Can't go wrong.
It's really lovely to see so many youngsters and people from the town. And of course, the AME show is known as the country comes to town. And so with the horses, the animals, the sheep, the cattle, it's a great opportunity for us to be exposed to what really does happen out in the country, because even if you're on a small block, you're still considered to be a farmer. And of course, most of those small blocks do in fact have horses of some sort, horses or ponies. We'll be back with more, looking at the technology and many, many other things here, the Christchurch Show.
You know that saying, content is king? Well, in today's mixed media world, it's true. You need video, audio, photos and more for social media, for marketing, for communications, sales and for advertising. And you need this at a price that works with your budgets. Well, that's what we do. At Tandem, we partner with you to create the content that you can use to shout to the world or video link to a few. Connect with us and we'll help you connect to the world.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
I think it's all working well, Jack.
My thoughts exactly.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
This is exactly what you need.
I think that'll do the trick.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
It's all looking good. Did you bring the sauce?
I can't think of everything.
We'll get you thinking, think water.
For real ideas and real solutions, just think water.
I've been reporting on farming matters on the radio and newspapers and on television for 40 or so years, but communication, like farming, has moved on. So we've come up with On the Land, online and through YouTube on any screen, anytime and anywhere. Just push play and see and hear what's happening today in our rural community. You'll learn and be informed about the latest and best information farming matters. On the Land, bringing farming information into the 21st century. So join us on our website, ontheland.co.nz.
Be Active begins here in the cold, clean, unpolluted southern oceans of New Zealand. Be Active amino acid biostimulant, natural, 100% pure, manufactured from healthy deep sea fish from sustainable New Zealand fisheries. New Zealand's Be Active amino acid biostimulant, the way the world is growing. Working with nature, good for the plant, good for the planet. Now that's growing for good.
We're living on a planet facing almost insurmountable challenges. Challenges we have to face sooner rather than later. The world needs our energy. She needs our ideas, our passion. It's up to us to change things, make a positive change to the planet, to feed the world, to protect the future, to live well, to be the generation that will make a change. Join us.
A police tractor with flashing lights. This attracts a fair bit of attention, Dave.
It does. It's a great conversation starter, and it gets people talking about the issues of the rural communities. And it's hard to get farmers to talk at the best of times. And having something like this, the first thing is what the hell do you use that for? So it's a good conversation starter, and it's a good way for us to engage with the rural community.
How is the rural community? Because policing it must be a real nightmare because of numbers and distances.
There are some things that we struggle with, which is the distances that we travel, the area we cover, the amount of people in that community over that distance. So in the community where I am, it's good, if the people have problems, they know that they can come to us and we can sit down and sort out any issues they may have.
With all due respect, you're the old-fashioned copper, aren't you, really? You're very approachable.
Well, I think all police are very approachable. Some people see the uniform and see a barrier and don't think that we are approachable. We're people as well. We live in the community too. We're part of the community. Our families are part of the community too. And when we engage with people, they do realise in the end that we are just like them.
Just a neighbour.
Just a neighbour, yeah.
Obviously, we do have crime, and it's not necessarily locals who are doing it.
No, every community has their issues, and crime is sometimes committed by people in that community and sometimes by people outside of the community. And, when we need a solution for that, the community is sometimes a solution to that too. So the problem can be in the community and the problem can be solved by the community.
I guess farmers are notorious for not locking things up as well.
Oh yeah. Yep. No, and look, that's part of the education as well, and that's that conversation starter. What are the issues in the rural community? The survey that came out, the major issues that came across, or the four major issues were stock theft, poaching, diesel theft and burglary. So those are the kickers, and security is one of the big things that can prevent some of that stuff from happening. So education is a good thing.
And there's lots of now devices around that you can monitor and be safer.
Yep, no, definitely. Technology is catching up with the rural environment, and with broadband and things like that, we've got cameras CCTV, people are putting buzzers on their gates so they know when people are coming and going. GPS trackers on expensive machinery like tractors and other stuff, those are the sort of things that are starting to make their way into the rural environment, and they are helping us immensely with solving some of the rural crime.
Road safety is another one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Road safety and farm safety go hand in hand, don't they? People are moving from property, from paddock to paddock. They're using main roads to move from paddock to paddock. Farm vehicles sometimes aren't up to scratch. Warrant fitness-wise or safety-wise. Also moving on quad bikes and tractors carrying machinery. Some of the machinery's massive. They can create a hazard on the road. Those sort of things are other things that we need to talk about as well, and we're educating some of the rural people and farmers as well.
Well, all power to your elbow, as the saying goes, because we do rely on you guys.
Yeah, well, I think being a rural constable in a large rural area, we rely on the community as well. We can't do our job without the community helping us. If we're not getting the information, if we're not knowing there's a problem, then we can't be engaged in fixing it. And if we can't fix it, then the problem gets bigger and bigger, and then sometimes it's unfixable.
Is the community catching on, Dave?
Oh, I think so. I mean, the communities, especially rural communities, are very engaged in everything that's around. The main points are the schools, the rugby clubs. So we're all communicating with each other through those things. It's just a matter of putting things together and getting the messages across and getting people on the same page, really.
So let's talk about utes and ranges and Everests and mountains to climb.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new stuff happening.
Yeah, well, we've got our whole range here on the site again this year. Everest is new for us. We've just launched Everest last month, both a trend and a titanium model. So we're getting back into that big SUV market, which we didn't have for a while when we lost Explorer. So great for towing your float and your boat. Of course, Ranger, New Zealand's #1 selling vehicle, not only a commercial vehicle, but overall vehicle in New Zealand at the moment. So just an awesome vehicle for us. We're so lucky. It's just had a facelift. And not just a facelift, really, it's a better vehicle all round. It's new electric power assist steering, obviously a new front look on the vehicle. We're just so lucky because it's already a fantastic truck and it's just better.
Yeah. So we're getting big now, aren't we? I mean, the old utes of the days gone by were a lot smaller.
It is. It's a bigger truck, but it's like I said. It's just we're selling so many more of them now. Not only your contractors and farmers, but just your average person's buying a vehicle now. It's very car-like to drive. But in saying that, these are big, but some of our smaller cars like Focus, Mondeo, going to a smaller, more fuel-efficient engine, but more power as well. So,
as far as utes are concerned, I mean there's everything that you could ever want as a car, isn't it?
Yeah, like this vehicle here now. This is the Wild Track. So it's standard with heated leather seats. The whole range, the XLT and the Wild Track, both standard now with satellite navigation. They've got a new system in the vehicle called Sync 2, so it's a really intelligent touch screen built into 4, so you can pair up your phone, you can play your music via Bluetooth. Obviously satellite navigation, reversing camera, all standard as well.
So is it really aimed at the farmer, or is it?
We still cater for the farmer. Obviously you can still get the XL, which is your good work truck, so it comes on steel wheels, but yeah, it's still designed for your farmer. It's got the vinyl flooring and it still does what he needs to do.
Because I was looking at that and thinking that you wouldn't want to get in there with muddy boots, let alone what farmers do put in their utes.
Yeah, well, like I said, the XL, you just have your vinyl floor, so it's well suited for the farmer who's getting in and out of the truck with his muddy boots, and that's still going to do everything he needs. 3.5 tonne tow rating, so yeah, it's a fantastic vehicle. We're so lucky. It's a fantastic range, and I don't think I'd be wanting to sell anything else apart from Ford at the moment.
So you're sort of like the car or vehicle version of an Angus breed, isn't it? It's traditional.
Yeah. You can't. There's no getting away from that Ford oval. I love it. I'm so happy. I've been at Team Hutchinson for 15 years, and so it's such a fantastic brand.
So you would have seen a hell of a lot of changes.
Yeah, I have, right from the old AU Falcons, and obviously we've got our last of our FGX XR6 over there. So this will probably be the last year you'll probably see a brand new Falcon here at the show. But the trend is going more towards SUV, small hatch. Obviously, commercial Ranger is just our number one selling vehicle at the moment. Sells itself.
Love your enthusiasm, Fiona. Well done.
Thank you.
One of the lovely things about coming to a show such as this is the people you meet, but also the things that you can get exposed to. And a lot of it is to do with well-being. Now, Colleen, stimulating blood cells, improving circulation, blood flow, more oxygen from jewellery.
That's right, that's right.
So, okay, how does it work?
Okay, so inside everything there's a tiny little chip, and that chip's been programmed with what they call its nano vibration technology. It's cutting edge. It's the newest thing out that we've got for natural pain management. That assists your red blood cells to communicate better, and if they're doing that, you're going to have more energy, strength, flexibility, focus. More important, it just might help reduce a little bit of inflammation in your body. So if you've got an ailment that's causing you grief from inflammation, like backache, stress, can't sleep, arthritis, migraines, well worth consideration.
So it doesn't fix it, but
No,
it eases it.
It eases it. It's not a cure. It's a nice natural pain management that's got a terribly high success rate. However, we can't give you a 100% guarantee that it's going to do that because everybody's very, very different. But we have a lot of posture with this product. And we've
I don't know a farmer that hasn't got some sort of
That's
atrial
right.
pain.
That's right. So I would say to the farmer, you should be giving serious consideration to looking at one of these Stuzy products. It's well worth it. And all they need to do is wear something like that, really practical on the farm. You know, they can shower with it, sleep with it, put into a spa, rugged. That's what they need, and it's all about that chip there.
So you've got work ones and you've probably got dress ones as well.
Of course, I'd like to take extra money off you, yes. So everything does the same job. The jewellery is just the carrier of the product, or carrier of the Stuzy chip. The nano vibration is what it is, cutting edge.
Well, let's have a wee look because you've got rings and bracelets and you have got everything.
We've got everything. We've got, as I say, you've got pendants, all the really nice ones for the wives or the partners there. Bangles, a little bit more practical if you want to be jewellery and wearing it on the farm. Again, the men, I'm inclined to go down the route of these casual bands or a pendant. So we've got some other pendants that are over here, which are great there for the men.
So basically a pendant isn't going to be right against the skin all the time?
No, it doesn't need to be right against the skin, just within 6 inches of the body and it's fine. So as I say, for the farmers, for the men, I'd be saying a pendant or a casual bracelet. And the woman, well, we love jewellery, don't we?
Yes,
You've got to have both.
I have discovered that during my years.
Yeah.
Now you've also got bits and pieces for animals.
Yes, same technology for the animals. So you can turn around and it helps them with anxiety, aches and pains. Put it around their neck, so if it's a cat or a dog, you can just wear a neck tag, and if it's equine, your horses, you can actually put it onto the saddle or onto the bridle. Same thing as for a human. Okay, it's reducing the inflammation, and because it's doing that, that's what's an additive for them to make them feel a bit better.
Well, you know, we look after ourselves, but we probably look after our animals more than ourselves.
Well, exactly. That's exactly true. Yeah, it's well worth consideration. You know, it's not the cure. It's just a great option for natural pain management to reduce your drug intake, really.
And anything that makes you feel more comfortable is worth it.
Absolutely. Well, why wouldn't you want to try that? Yeah, I would.
So there you are. That really is the essence of the Canterbury A&P show. As I said earlier in the program, it is an equine event. It's a Royal Agricultural Society equine event, and that's because Nikki Hutchison, who is the president this year, has spent a long, long time working with the equine segment. Really, it's the case of country comes to town, and it's really nice to be able to say that it seems as though this year the show has been as good as it ever has been. And with the entertainment on the Friday, it's sort of a carnival festival sort of an atmosphere, but it's still very, very serious for those competitors who have put their stock on the line as they have for, about 115 years, I think it is, since a Canterbury A&P show started. Not on this site, but on a site that is at Addington. But on this site now we're getting the maturity, the grass is really, really green, the trees are growing really, really well, and I think it is fair to suggest that the Canterbury AMP show, the 3-day event, is really, really the epitome of what an AMP show should be. We'll be back with more of a traditional program next week. In the meantime, Rob Cope-Williams, you've either been watching or you have just missed it, but we will be back at the same time next week. Till then, bye now.